Have you ever wondered why Moses, one of the most significant figures in history, was invented? His story is filled with miracles, leadership, and divine intervention. But what if I told you there's a deeper reason behind his existence, one that might completely change how you see history? In today's video, we'll uncover the hidden purpose behind Moses' story and why his legacy is more than just a biblical narrative. Get ready, because this is going to blow your mind. Moses is a towering figure in the Abrahamic religions, but what was the world like when his story emerged? Ancient Egypt was at its peak, with powerful pharaohs ruling over vast territories. The Israelites, believed to be enslaved during this period, were struggling for freedom. The story of Moses arises at a time when leadership, guidance, and faith were desperately needed. But historians debate whether Moses was a real person or a symbolic figure. Some scholars believe that he was a composite of multiple leaders who helped guide oppressed people to liberation. The story of an infant placed in a basket and found by a royal figure has echoes in other ancient mythologies, like the tale of Sargon of Akkad. So, was Moses a historical figure, or was he a necessary invention for a society in turmoil? Every oppressed society needs a hero. The Israelites, if historically enslaved, needed hope, someone who embodied resilience, courage, and divine favor. Moses became that beacon of hope. From a psychological perspective, having a leader like Moses gave people a reason to persevere. His story symbolized faith over fear, justice over oppression. The idea that a single person, empowered by God, could stand up to the mightiest ruler of the time, Pharaoh, was revolutionary. This psychological effect is seen throughout history. Martin Luther King Jr. inspired people through faith and leadership, just like Moses did. The idea of a deliverer isn't just religious, it's a fundamental human need. We crave heroes who stand against oppression and fight for freedom. Whether Moses was a historical figure or not, his role as a symbol of hope was essential. Beyond faith, Moses' story had a massive political impact. The Ten Commandments, which he received on Mount Sinai, became the foundation for many modern legal systems. Imagine a society with no written laws, no structure, chaos would reign. The introduction of divine laws helped unify a scattered group of people. In many ways, Moses was more than a prophet, he was a lawgiver, a nation builder. By leading the Israelites to the Promised Land, he wasn't just changing their physical location, he was creating an identity, a set of values, and a vision for the future. Even today, leaders use religious narratives to unite people. Political figures reference Moses when talking about liberation and justice. His story has been retold in countless revolutions, making him one of the most politically influential figures in history. Moses is central to Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. In Judaism, he is the greatest prophet, the one who spoke directly with God. In Christianity, he prefigures Jesus, acting as a mediator between God and humanity. In Islam, he is known as Musa, a prophet who faced great trials but remained steadfast in his faith. This universal reverence suggests something profound. Moses' story is more than just history, it's a message of endurance, faith, and divine justice. Whether you believe in the literal truth of his miracles or not, his influence on world religions is undeniable. Without Moses, major religious doctrines might have looked completely different. His story laid the groundwork for understanding divine law, faith, and redemption. And that's exactly why his invention was so crucial. He was the moral and spiritual guide humanity needed. Moses' story isn't just about the past, it's deeply relevant to our modern world. We still struggle with oppression, inequality, and leadership crises. His journey from exile to leader teaches us resilience. His stand against Pharaoh reminds us to challenge injustice. His faith in the unseen gives us hope in difficult times. Think about it, every movement for justice has a leader, someone who refuses to back down. From Gandhi to Nelson Mandela, the Moses archetype keeps reappearing. His story, real or not, serves as a blueprint for how to create change. And maybe that's the real reason Moses was invented. The world needed an example of faith, courage, and justice. His legacy isn't just a religious tale, it's a timeless guide for humanity. The story of Moses has striking similarities to myths from other cultures. The most well-known parallel is the tale of Sargon of Akkad, a Mesopotamian ruler who was also said to have been placed in a basket and set adrift in a river as a baby, only to be rescued and raised to become a great leader. But the similarities don't stop there. In Hindu mythology, Krishna was hidden at birth to escape a murderous king, much like Moses was hidden from Pharaoh. Greek mythology also gives us Oedipus, a child abandoned due to prophecy. These patterns suggest that Moses' story wasn't unique, it followed an ancient storytelling tradition. So, was Moses a real person, or was he shaped by pre-existing legends? Many scholars believe that elements of his story were borrowed from older myths to emphasize his greatness and divine purpose. If so, the invention of Moses was not just about history but about storytelling that connected deeply with human psychology. Beyond being a prophet and leader, Moses played a crucial role in shaping a national identity. Before his leadership, the Israelites were a scattered group without a unifying structure. They had no defined homeland, no central authority. Moses changed that. He didn't just lead people physically out of Egypt, he gave them laws, traditions, and a shared purpose. The introduction of the Ten Commandments was a pivotal moment, not just religiously but politically. It established a moral code that would unify the people and set the foundation for Jewish law. Throughout history, strong leaders have emerged to bring order to chaotic times. George Washington, for example, helped forge the identity of the United States, much like Moses did for the Israelites. The invention of Moses as a figurehead ensured that an entire group could define themselves as a nation with a shared past, laws, and destiny. One of the most dramatic parts of Moses' story is the 10 plagues of Egypt. Water turning to blood, frogs, locusts, and darkness, these events are described as divine punishments inflicted on Pharaoh for refusing to free the Israelites. But were these plagues real? Some historians and scientists believe they could have natural explanations. For example, a volcanic eruption could have turned the Nile red, resembling blood. A climate shift could have led to an overgrowth of frogs, insects, and disease. The darkness could have been caused by an eclipse or a sandstorm. Whether these plagues were miracles or natural disasters, the impact of the story remains the same. It serves as a powerful message: defying divine will leads to consequences. The invention of Moses wouldn't be complete without these dramatic events, reinforcing his role as a messenger of divine justice. Perhaps the most iconic moment in Moses' story is the parting of the Red Sea. As Pharaoh's army pursued the Israelites, Moses raised his staff, and the waters split, allowing them to escape. But is there any truth to this event? Some scientists suggest a strong wind could have temporarily pushed back the waters in a shallow part of the sea. Others believe a tsunami might have caused water levels to recede before rushing back. But whether or not this event physically happened, its symbolic meaning is clear. The parting of the sea represents liberation, faith, and divine intervention. It's a crucial moment in the invention of Moses, one that cements him as a leader chosen by God to guide his people. One of Moses' most defining moments was receiving the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai. These laws became the foundation of moral and legal systems worldwide. Before this, societies often followed the rule of kings or tribal leaders. The introduction of a divine moral code changed everything. It emphasized universal principles like honesty, respect, and justice. Even today, laws against murder, theft, and perjury stem from these ancient commandments. Moses' role in delivering these laws gave him authority beyond just leadership; he became the moral and ethical compass of his people. Whether or not these laws were truly divine, their impact on civilization is undeniable. Even after witnessing miracles, the Israelites faltered. While Moses was on Mount Sinai, his people built a golden calf and worshipped it as a god. This event highlights a critical truth about human nature: we crave physical symbols of faith. Moses' anger upon returning and seeing the idol represents a turning point. He not only destroys the idol but also re-establishes order. This story serves as a lesson in leadership: people are quick to lose faith, and a strong leader must guide them back. Religious or not, this incident reflects human psychology. In times of uncertainty, people seek immediate comfort rather than long-term faith. This makes Moses' role as a leader even more crucial. Despite being chosen by God, Moses faced immense struggles. Leading thousands of people through the desert was no easy task. He dealt with complaints, rebellions, and even moments of personal doubt. One of the most humanizing moments in his story is when he asks God why he was burdened with leading such a difficult people. This shows that even great leaders experience moments of weakness. Moses' perseverance through hardship is what makes him legendary. His story teaches that leadership isn't about having all the answers, it's about staying the course, even when the journey is hard. Behind every great leader is a strong supporter. For Moses, that person was Aaron, his brother. Aaron played a crucial role as the high priest, often speaking on Moses' behalf and guiding the people spiritually. This highlights an important leadership lesson: no one succeeds alone. Even the most powerful figures need advisors and allies. Without Aaron, Moses might not have been able to maintain control. This dynamic is seen throughout history: leaders who surround themselves with wise counsel are more effective. The invention of Moses wasn't just about one man, it was about a system of leadership that ensured stability. The journey from Egypt to the Promised Land wasn't immediate. It took 40 years, a lifetime for many of the Israelites. But why so long? One interpretation is that the people needed time to grow spiritually and mentally. A generation that had lived as slaves wasn't ready to enter a new land as free individuals. They had to unlearn their past and embrace a new identity. This teaches us that transformation doesn't happen overnight. Whether in personal growth, business, or society, true change takes time. Moses' journey symbolizes patience, perseverance, and the need to prepare before reaching a goal. Moses had one of the most unique relationships with God in religious history. He spoke to God directly, received divine laws, and performed miracles through divine intervention. Unlike other prophets who received visions or messages, Moses had conversations with God. This direct connection made him the ultimate messenger. But his relationship with God wasn't always smooth. He questioned, doubted, and even pleaded with God at times. This shows that faith isn't about blind obedience, it's about struggle, growth, and understanding. One of the most shocking parts of Moses' story is that after all his struggles, he wasn't allowed to enter the Promised Land. Why? According to the biblical account, Moses struck a rock to bring forth water instead of speaking to it as God commanded. This act of defiance, though small, resulted in severe consequences. This teaches that even great leaders have flaws. No one is above accountability, and even Moses had to face the consequences of his actions. It's a powerful lesson in humility and discipline. Moses' death is a mystery. The Bible states that he died on Mount Nebo, but his burial site remains unknown. This has led to speculation: was his body hidden to prevent it from becoming an object of worship? Regardless, Moses' legacy lived on. His teachings, laws, and leadership shaped Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. His story continued to inspire leaders, revolutionaries, and spiritual seekers for centuries. The influence of Moses extends beyond religion. His story has shaped politics, leadership, and even philosophy. His journey from slavery to freedom mirrors the struggles of oppressed people throughout history. From the American Civil Rights Movement to the formation of new nations, leaders have referenced Moses as a symbol of liberation. His principles of law and justice still form the backbone of many legal systems today. Whether historical or mythological, his impact is undeniable. So, was Moses a real person, or was he a necessary invention? The truth is, it doesn't really matter. His story has transformed civilizations, influenced moral codes, and inspired countless leaders. The invention of Moses wasn't just about a man, it was about the idea of faith, freedom, and leadership. His story continues to teach us valuable lessons, regardless of our beliefs. What do you think? Was Moses a historical figure, or was he a legend crafted to inspire generations? Let me know in the comments. One of the most iconic moments in Moses' life is his encounter with the burning bush. While tending to sheep, he sees a bush that is engulfed in flames but does not burn up. From within the fire, God speaks to him, commanding him to free the Israelites from Egypt. This moment is significant because it represents the idea that divine purpose can appear in unexpected ways. Moses was not seeking power or leadership, he was living a quiet life. Yet, his destiny found him. Many great leaders and visionaries throughout history have had moments like this, times when they are called to a greater purpose. The burning bush teaches that sometimes, we are chosen for something bigger than ourselves. Throughout his journey, Moses' staff played a crucial role. It transformed into a serpent, brought plagues upon Egypt, parted the Red Sea, and even provided water from a rock. The staff represents divine authority and faith. When Moses doubted himself, God used the staff to show that he was not acting alone, he had divine power backing him. In modern times, this is similar to how symbols of power, crowns, flags, scepters, are used to inspire and lead people. The invention of Moses would not be complete without this powerful symbol of leadership. One lesser-known fact about Moses is that he had a speech impediment. He even told God that he was slow of speech and tongue. Yet, despite this, he became one of the most powerful leaders in history. This teaches an important lesson: weaknesses do not define us. Moses was not chosen for his eloquence but for his character, faith, and determination. Many great leaders have overcome personal struggles. Abraham Lincoln suffered from depression, Winston Churchill had a speech impediment, and Stephen Hawking lost his ability to speak. Yet, like Moses, they left an incredible impact on the world. The story of the Exodus, escaping oppression and seeking freedom, is one of the most powerful narratives in history. It has been referenced in movements for civil rights, independence, and justice throughout time. African American spirituals often reference Moses leading his people to freedom. Leaders like Harriet Tubman, who helped enslaved people escape, were even compared to him. This proves that Moses' story isn't just religious, it is a universal symbol of liberation. Whether real or invented, his story has given hope to countless oppressed people throughout history. While Moses is the central figure, women played a crucial role in his journey. His mother, Jochebed, saved him from death by placing him in a basket. Pharaoh's daughter rescued and raised him. His sister, Miriam, watched over him. His wife, Zipporah, saved his life when he neglected an important religious duty. This highlights an often overlooked aspect of leadership, the influence of strong women. Moses' success was not just his own, it was made possible by the courageous and wise women around him. Why did the Israelites wander in the desert for 40 years before reaching the Promised Land? Many believe it was a test, a time for growth, purification, and transformation. Sometimes in life, we want immediate results, but true change takes time. The Israelites needed to develop faith, discipline, and unity before they were ready to enter their new home. This teaches that struggles and delays are not necessarily failures. Sometimes, they are necessary for us to become who we need to be. During their journey, Moses was instructed to build the tabernacle, a portable temple where God's presence would dwell. This was the first organized place of worship for the Israelites. The tabernacle represents the idea that faith is not tied to a location. Even in the wilderness, people could connect with the divine. This concept is still relevant today. True faith is not about buildings or rituals but about a personal connection with something greater. Before entering Canaan, Moses sent 12 spies to scout the land. 10 of them returned with fear, claiming the land was too dangerous. Only two, Joshua and Caleb, believed they could conquer it. Because of their fear, the Israelites were forced to wander the desert for another 40 years. This teaches a powerful lesson: fear and doubt can prevent us from reaching our goals. Moses' story reminds us that success often requires courage. If we let fear control us, we may never reach our promised land. During their journey, the Israelites were plagued by venomous snakes. God instructed Moses to create a bronze serpent and place it on a pole. Anyone who looked at it would be healed. This story symbolizes faith and redemption. It also serves as an early example of healing through belief, something seen in many cultures and religions. Interestingly, the medical symbol used today, a snake on a staff, is thought to have originated from this story. Despite his power and influence, Moses was described as more humble than anyone on earth. Unlike many rulers, he never sought glory for himself, he always directed it toward God. This is one of the most remarkable aspects of his leadership. He didn't rule through fear or pride but through faith and humility. This teaches that true leadership is not about control, it's about service. The greatest leaders are those who put others before themselves. Most people associate Moses with the Torah, but he is also believed to have written Psalm 90, one of the oldest psalms in the Bible. This psalm reflects on the brevity of life and the importance of wisdom. It reminds us that no matter how great a leader is, life is temporary, and we must make our days count. Some mystical traditions believe that Moses' soul returned in later prophets, such as Elijah or even Jesus. While not a mainstream belief, it raises an interesting question. Do leaders and teachers return throughout history to guide humanity? Whether literal or symbolic, the idea suggests that the spirit of Moses lives on in every movement for freedom and justice. One of the great mysteries is that Moses' burial place remains unknown. Unlike many leaders whose tombs became places of worship, Moses' body was hidden. Some believe this was intentional. If his grave had been found, people might have turned him into an idol. His legacy was meant to be in his teachings, not in a physical monument. In Islam, Moses, Musa, is one of the most mentioned prophets in the Quran. His story is nearly identical to the biblical version, emphasizing his role as a deliverer and lawgiver. This shows that Moses is not just a Jewish or Christian figure, his influence extends across multiple faiths. Throughout history, leaders like Martin Luther King Jr., Nelson Mandela, and Mahatma Gandhi have been compared to Moses. They led people out of oppression and into freedom. Perhaps Moses was not just one person but a timeless symbol of leadership. And maybe, the next Moses is still to come. One of the most debated topics about Moses is his true origin. Some scholars suggest that he may have been an Egyptian noble or a high-ranking official who later turned against the pharaoh.
Welcome to Blessovia Science TV, where we take you on an exhilarating journey through the cosmos and unravel the mysteries of science. We are excited to offer you the opportunity to become a valued member of our ever-growing community of cosmic enthusiasts and knowledge seekers. Exclusive access to cosmic content. As a member of Blessovia Science TV, you will gain exclusive access to a treasure trove of cosmic content, including documentaries, interviews with leading scientists, space missions updates, and awe-inspiring visualizations of the universe, live Q, and sessions with experts. Your membership will grant you the chance to participate in live Q and sessions with renowned scientists, astronomers, and space explorers. Get your burning questions answered by those who push the boundaries of human knowledge. Embark on a journey that spans the cosmos and join us in unraveling the secrets of the universe. Become a Blessovia Science TV member today, and together we will reach for the stars. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and share. Don't forget to leave your comment.